Talk a little bit how people perceived you before the illness, before as opposed to now.
I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was 21. So I was fairly young. I was just at the peak of, growing up and doing all those things. So I would say they just perceived me as a normal girl. I went to college and I, worked, and I was just generally normal. Nothing overly exciting about my life. And then one day I went to the bathroom and there was blood in the toilet. And I freaked out, but I did not have health insurance at the time. So I continued to bleed for 3 months, and then I finally went to a doctor. And my doctor sat me down and he gave me a pamphlet and he was like, "You have ulcerative colitis." And at the time they didn't mention to me that it was going to be a lifelong chronic disease. And at the time I was kind of in denial, so I didn't really think about the repercussions of having a long-term illness. And I didn't think it would be such a big deal. So they gave me some medication, I went home, the treatment worked, but it only worked for 3 months. And then I continued to flare again. So, I don't know, I would say it was kind of a surprise to me, and I think the rest of the world, my family as well. We didn't realize how much it would change my life at the time.
What are you hoping to take away from this experience with this photo shoot? And
well, when I was first approached with it, I thought, wow, what an amazing opportunity, just to be able to explain something that I don't often get the chance to explain to people. It's not like you walk up and be like, "Hi, I have a chronic illness." It's more, people ask you, "Why aren't you eating that?" And I say, "Well, I can't because I can't digest it," or something like that. So I guess what I'm trying to take away from this is awareness. I want to be able to let people know that it's not just men or women in their 60s who get ostomy bags and who have these debilitating diseases. It's people who are younger. And I'm not as young as it gets. There are babies with ostomies. There are children who go to places like Camp Oasis, which is a whole camp full of kids with IBD. So it's not just me, it's many women and many men and many children who are affected by what I have.
I think you answered this a little bit, but the next question is, what are you hoping others can gain from this?
I just want to end the stigma. I think, and I can tell you from personal experience, even last month I was hospitalized and they looked at me and they were like, "Well, you look able-bodied, you can take care of yourself." But I was in the hospital laying in a bed using a bedpan. And I'm not able-bodied, but I think to have an invisible illness and for someone to tell you that they don't see it so it must not exist is really difficult. So what I want people to understand is, even though I'm not in a wheelchair or I'm not wearing, a cast or anything, I still have pain and I still want that to be recognized.
Wow. What do you think your reaction to the reveal will be?
Other people's reaction or mine?
Yours.
Mine? I think I'm just going to be really grateful. I think it'll be an overwhelming and emotional experience to really let it out there, but I've got a lot of people who look to me for guidance and for support, and so I just want to be that person for other people.
What do you think? What do you actually think other people's reaction will be?
I think I'm going to get a lot of yay and a lot of support. I feel like for people who have chronic illness and for people who are in support groups, whether that's online or in a room, we have such an overwhelming amount of love for each other and support, and so I think that's what other people are going to think of. And I don't know, I've always been pretty shy, kind of. I'm out there, but I'm shy, and so it'll be something different. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I think they'll all be happy.
By we, you mean you and the other models have that support, or your community?
Whether you have IBD or you don't, if you have a chronic illness, you're kind of like, "Yeah, girl, I know what you mean." And I think we could all kind of relate to each other, but I think specifically in my community, we're very supportive. If someone poops their pants, we're like, "Get up, clean yourself up, it's another day," So I think there's just going to be support in that aspect as far as my community and my family and our friends that see our posts.
Where do you think you're going to go from here?
From here, I just hope that doing this shoot will allow me to touch other lives and other people who might be shy. I mean, the reality of having what I have and also having an ostomy, people are embarrassed and they don't show it publicly. And I show my stoma on my stoma is my intestine. I show my stoma on the internet to people, and they're kind of like, wow, how do you do that? Or how are you brave enough to post those pictures? And I think I just have to be, because if I'm not, then there's going to be that 12-year-old girl who goes out with her ostomy bag and gets picked on. And you know, I don't want to be. I want to be the reason that someone wakes up and says it's okay.
Yeah. Your disease is so invisible that we don't even have any paint on you right now as we're interviewing you.
That's
it's
right.
like, yeah. Geez. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to highlight that for the interview just
Sure.
in case there's something to that.
So my pain is primarily located in my abdomen, so right where kind of alongside of my ostomy. I get a lot of cramping, there's a lot of nausea, there's a lot of vomiting, there's a lot of blood. So not what you would expect usually, but mine is very loud as far as blood. So my blood passes through my bottom, and that's where primarily I have a lot of my pain as well. And so even though my intestines are not connected to my bottom, it's still open. So there's still ways to pass that sort of fluid, and that can become very, very painful.